Here are A and C math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. If A, B, C and D are non-zero real numbers such that C and D are the solutions of x square positive ax positive b equals 0 and A and B are the solutions of x square positive cx positive d equals 0, then A positive, B positive, C positive, D equals 2. Okay, we have to find the value of this expression. Okay, there is an information that C and D are the solutions of this quadratic equation. A and B are the solutions of this quadratic equation over here. Now, let me consider a quadratic equation in standard form, that is ax square positive bx positive c equals to 0. Okay, when we have a quadratic equation in standard form, there is a formula to get sum of the solutions and also to get the product of the solutions. Okay, first let me write the formula for sum of the solutions. For that, we have to take negative sign and take the coefficient of x, that is b. It has to be divided by the coefficient of x square, that is a. Now, let's consider the formula to get product of the two solutions. We have to consider the constant term c. It has to be divided by the coefficient of x square, that is a. Now, let's use this formula over here in the given information. Now, let me consider this particular piece of information, that is c and d are the solutions of this quadratic equation. Okay, now let me get the sum of the two solutions of this quadratic equation, that is c positive d, because c and d are the solutions for this equation. The formula is negative. We have to take the coefficient of x, that is a. It has to be divided by the coefficient of x square. In this case, it's 1. Negative a over 1 is just negative a. Now, let me get the product of two solutions, that is c times d. The formula is the constant term b has to be divided by the coefficient of x square, that is 1. B divided by 1 is just b. Now, let me do the same thing for this information. So, that is a positive b equals to, that is sum of the two solutions of this quadratic equation equals to negative the coefficient of x, that is c divided by the coefficient of x square 1. Negative c divided by 1 is just negative c. And the product of the two solutions, a times b equals to the constant term d divided by the coefficient of x square 1. D divided by 1 is just d. Okay, now let's solve for c in the first equation over here. For that, we have to subtract d from both sides of the equation. When I subtract d from both sides of this equation, I am getting c equals to negative a, negative d. Okay, now to make this negative c as positive in this equation, we have to multiply both sides of this equation by negative 1. Okay, when I multiply this a by negative 1, I am getting negative a. When I multiply this positive b by negative 1, I am getting negative b. When I multiply this negative c by negative 1, I am getting positive c. Okay, here in this equation, I got the stuff that is equal to c, negative a, negative d. In this equation also, I got some stuff for c, that is negative a, negative b. Since this one, both of them are equal to c, we can equate these two expressions. Then we get negative a, negative d equals to negative a, negative b. Now let me add a to both sides of this equation. Then negative a, positive a will cancel. The same here. I am getting negative d equals to negative b. I find negative sign on both sides of this equation. Let's multiply both sides of this equation by negative 1. When I multiply this one by negative 1, I am getting positive d. When I multiply this one by negative 1, I am getting positive b. Okay, here I got the result, that is d equals to b. Now, let me take this equation. In this equation, we can plug in this d for b over here because d and b are equal. Okay, now let me take this equation, that is cd equals to b. And in this, for this b, we can plug in d, then we get cd equals to d. Let's divide both sides of this equation by d. Then this d will cancel out. I'm getting c equals to d over d is 1. Okay, here I got the value of c, that is 1. Okay, now let me take this equation. In this equation, I'm going to plug in b for this d over here. Okay, then I'm getting ab equals to, let me write this equation as it is. It is ab equals to d, ab equals to, now for this d, we can plug in b. Okay, now let's divide both sides of this equation by b. Then this b will cancel out. I'm getting a on the left side. On the right side, b divided by b is 1. Okay, here I got the value of c, that is 1, and I got the value of a, that is also 1. Okay, now what we can do is we can plug in c equals to 1 and a equals to 1 in this equation. Then we can get the value of b. Okay, now let me do it over here. I'm going to take this equation, that is a positive b equals to negative c. For a, we can plug in 1 and we can keep this b as it is. And for c, we can plug in negative 1. Okay, now let me subtract a 1 from both sides of this equation. Then 1, negative 1 will cancel out. I am getting b equals to negative 2. Okay, we know that d and b are equal. When b equals to negative 2, then for d also we'll have the same value, that is negative 2. Here we got values for all the four unknowns A, B, C and D. Okay, now let's get the value of this expression, that is A positive, B positive, C positive, D equals to, for A we have the value 1 and for B we have negative 2 and for C we have 1, for D we have a negative 2. Okay, now let's combine the two positive values 1 and 1. I'm getting positive 2. Let's combine the two negative values, then I'm getting negative 4. When I combine positive 2 and negative 4, I'm getting negative 2. Therefore, the value of this expression A positive, B positive, C positive, D is a negative 2. We find this negative 2 in answer choice B. The correct answer choice for this question is B.